It is July the 8th, 4 days after 4th of July. And as I shared with you in the last video, it's 4th of July. Do we understand it? But enough of that topic. What I want to discuss with you and with everyone that can listen and will listen, and discuss with myself especially, because I have to remind myself, the idea and a lesson about how we destroy one another with the tool of murderers. What I'd like to talk to you about is that we possess tools that murder people. And because we have that tool that murder people, and we use this tool unknowingly, we kill people with it unknowingly. This tool that we as murderers use, we murder others, we murder ourselves. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about here in a couple of seconds. But I want you to think about this and listen to this song that's going, the pretending man, the pretending woman, whatever gender we may be, a student of human species, man or woman. Think about this idea. We possess a tool that will murder people. It's a tool that murders people. What is that? It murders young kids. It murders children. It murders kids to adults. What can that be? I found out what it was after living for about 58 years. I'm 59, be 60 here, but around 58 I learned this lesson about myself. And I had to learn it for myself because no one can tell me. I couldn't hear it. My ears were open, but I wouldn't hear it because my thick head was blocking it. So my thinking was blocking me from hearing anything. Because my pretending man was speaking to me 24/7 before 24/7 ever came about. The pretending man was always talking to me. And I couldn't hear reality. I couldn't hear facts. I heard my pride. I heard my guilt. I heard my regret. I heard my longing. I heard my lusts. I heard my desires. I heard my wants. I heard my grievings. I heard my bereavements. I heard my sorrow. I heard my depression, they call it. It's really not depression. It's just called a broken heart for me. For other people it might be depression, but what specifically is the depression you're going through? I know if I had another woman that came into my life that loved me like Elsie loved me at the beginning, I would heal in a matter of seconds, matter of minutes. I think. Speculation. But in my first divorce to my second marriage, it was because of Elsie that was in my life as being employed by me as a domestic helper to take care of my dog, John May, which means praise in Cantonese. It doesn't have to be justified or be revealed. This is, I like to justify it because this is what happened. And there wasn't any hanky-panky. We got married, and after that, I had my sexual problems. It's going a little farther than I wanted to say, but the lesson I learned was I was lying to myself. And because I was lying to myself, I lied to everyone around me. I lied to myself about my sexuality. I lied to myself about how I could give my wives children, and I couldn't. I was a pretending man to myself. But then I learned another lesson, that in my two marriages that Christianity left me with, It left me with a tool that was very evil. But as a tool that it's not left by only Christianity, it's left by human beings through their holy books they write. And here's what happened to me. In my first marriage, I thought, well, God said that wife loves your husbands as Christ loved the church and blah, blah, blah. It was like a guarantee that my wives will stay with me because God said that, hey, wife, you obey your husband no matter what. And don't you dare leave him or something bad's going to happen to you. But you know what? That's not true. And I found out I had the shortcoming of thinking that I was entitled to have a marriage for the rest of my life. And I could act like an asshole. Or I can act self-righteously and do what a friend of mine, Jack so-and-so, who's with a elder church type of church. They call each other elders, okay? It's a little hint for you. But I was there at his basement, and they were telling me about their missionary endeavors, and they're trying to get me to become their missionary, you know, be their convert. And Jack was just there bossing his wife around, but he didn't know he was bossing his wife around. And his wife was submitting to the husband, not knowing better, because that's what Mormon wives do. Very sad. And then I saw myself in Jack. I was exactly like Jack. Exactly. I felt entitlement. But here's where entitlement is a tool that murderers use. Because entitlement will kill communications. I'll give you an example. When a child feels that the parent must provide shelter for them, that's the child feeling entitlement. When the father or mother says to the child, you must obey me because I am mama and daddy, that's also entitlement. So destruction goes both ways. So the lesson is, drop entitlement. We aren't entitled to anything. The only thing we're entitled to is the breath we have now, breath we can exhale. We have no entitlement to anything. We have nothing. And people that believe in the Holy Book attribute that to some God somewhere. And don't get me wrong, I believe there is a God, but not in the definition written in the holy books. Not in any definition whatsoever. My belief of God is very much my not belief. Because believing is a problem. So my understanding of God is the not believing of God. My understanding of God is the stillness of the mind. My understanding of God is way different than when it was with being a Christian for 36 years. But regardless, it doesn't matter. What matters is drop entitlement. It'll destroy us. It's destroyed me for 58 years. And I'm learning how to drop it daily, because entitlement is just like a bad habit. It's like a fart. If you eat too much beans, you're going to fart. If you eat too much bad stuff from other people, like complaining and like blaming and irresponsibility, guess what? You're going to fart some irresponsibility out of your life. So hang around with responsible people. That's the key.